I'm building this countertop using 2x12 construction lumber, which is not an ideal choice of wood for a countertop, but this is for my camper, so it's cheap and gives a knotty pine look. I'm starting off by ripping out 2-inch strips from all of the 2x12s. You can rip this down to whatever width you want, or simply glue the large boards together if you're following this process. 2-inch strips gave it more of a butcher block type of look. After ripping out all the strips, I just glue them together in 2 chunks. I'm gluing it in 2 chunks because I have to send these through my planer, or I want to send them through my planer. So in order to do so, I have to make sure each section is 12 inches or narrower. Culls are really helpful in a glue up like this because with a bunch of strips, the culls help keep everything flat. And this is especially helpful for construction lumber. Sometimes you even have to break out a mallet just to try to get everything flat. After the glue is dry, I send the 2 chunks through the planer just to get everything down to the same thickness. Now if you don't have a planer, a belt sander also works, but it's a lot harder to get an even thickness with that. After that, I trim the edges to help with glue up. I just shave off a little bit on each edge, and then that way it helps me get cleaner square edges when I'm gluing these 2 pieces together. After the glue is dry, I square up the ends. I'm using my track saw here. You can use a circular saw with a guide if you want, or if you have any other type of saw for this, I mean that could work. If you have the right sled set up on the table saw, that would be a good choice, but track saw is my preferred method. I got this corner I gotta trim out just because of the design of my camper. But this is one of the reasons I like track saws so much. You can place a track right on the line where you want to cut, so there's no awkward offset that you have to measure out with a guide for a circular saw. I then move on to adding a round over on all of the side and front edges. I'm making sure to avoid the back, because that's going to be against a wall and it can't dip down awkwardly. I'm adding a small bar sink to this countertop, and it came with these instructions, which of course were less than helpful. So I'm just marking out the center so it'll line up with the cabinet I'm placing this on. It did, however, come with this template, which was great because I could just trace this out and follow the line with my jigsaw. I celebrated my success, and then I moved on to sanding, which gave me a great opportunity to try out these inline dog hole clamps that I made in a previous video. After sanding, I moved on to finishing, applying wipe-on polyurethane using my favorite method, just dumping it on the surface and then wiping it with a foam brush. After applying 3 coats and letting it cure, the last step was installing it in my camper.